Uh, Hello there, welcome to our topic on drowning, first aid in drowning. And usually, drowning is when someone is unable to breathe because their nose and mouth are submerged in water or in other liquid. So when someone's drowning, it may not look like the violent splashing call for help that most people expect from watching TV. So when someone actually drowning, they won't be able to make any noise. So they can easily go unnoticed, and even if friends or family are nearby. So what are we going to look for in drowning? In our previous topic, we looked at choking, and I believe that being able to go through the audio, and we are aware that there's a way in which we handle adults and a different way to handle the children. So in drowning, if someone has been rescued from drowning, you need to check if they are breathing or not. So if they aren't breathing, then you need to give CPR straight away. So what do you need to do? As soon as the casualty has been rescued from the water, check if they're breathing. Ask someone to call the emergency for help. And if the person is unconscious and not breathing, give them 5 initial rescue breaths before starting the CPR. Once done this, start the CPR 30 chest compressions, then rescue breaths, and keep giving the CPR until help arrives. The casualty regains consciousness, or you are too exhausted to keep going. So if you are on your own, give CPR for 1 minute before you call the emergency number for help, medical help. If they start breathing again at any time, treat them by covering them with warm clothes and blankets. If they recover completely, replace their wet clothes with dry ones. Keep checking breathing, pulse, and level of response until help arrives. So remember that first aid tips and information according to St. John Ambulance would help us to put this, because we said we have many sources. We have the Red Cross, we also have the St. John Ambulance that are common in Kenya. So if someone is drowning, notify a lifeguard if one is close. If not, ask someone to call an emergency number. If you are alone, follow the steps below. Move the person, get the person out of the water. Then check for breathing. Place your ear next to the person's mouth and nose. Do you feel air on your cheek? Look to see if the person's chest is also moving. If the person is breathing, check the pulse. Then check the person's pulse for about 10 seconds. If there is no pulse, start the CPR, that is the Monarch Resuscitation. Carefully place the person on the back. For an adult or child, place the heel of one hand on the center of the chest at the nipple line. You can also push with one hand on top of the other. Adults, for an infant, place fingers on the breastbone. For an adult or child, press down 2 inches. Make sure not to press on the breast. And for an infant, specifically, press down about 1 to 1.5 inches. Make sure not to press on the end of the breastbone. So do 30 chest compressions and a rate of 100 per minute or more. Let the chest rise completely between pushes and check to see if the person has started breathing. Note that these instructions are not meant to train. The classes are available through the American Red Cross, local hospitals, and organizations. So repeat if the person is still unable to breathe. If you are being trained in CPR, you can now open the airway by tilting the head back and lifting the chin. Pinch the nose of the victim, close. Take a normal breath. Cover the victim's mouth with yours to create an air seal, and then give 2 1-second breaths as you watch for the chest to rise. Then you give 2 breaths followed by 30 chest compressions, and continue this cycle of 30 compressions and 2 breaths until the person starts breathing or emergency help arrives. So in terms of drowning, in an emergency, drowning is a leading cause of children from age 1 to 4 years. The second cause of death in children 14 and under. So your kids are especially active because they are curious, attracted to water but are not yet to understand how dangerous it is. The good news is that a few effective precautions can prevent most drownings. The victim near this first action repeat already. The first priority is to get the drowned child out of the water as quickly as possible. If she or he is breathing, place her on the back on a firm surface, immediately gets to breathing below, and have someone to call for help. Don't assume pledge to save a child's life, even if she's responsible or is responsible. Continue performing the CPR and do not stop until maybe professional take over. So open the child airway and to do that gently tilt her head back with one hand, lift the chin with her, put the ear to the mouth, nose, and look, listen, and also feel for signs that she is breathing. So if your child doesn't seem to be breathing, place your mouth over the infant's nose and give breath each lasting about 1 second. Look for the chest to rise and fall for about 10 seconds. Sorry. Then with children 1 and 10, between 1 and older, you need to ensure that you pinch the child's nose and seal the lips over the mouth. Give 2 slow, full breaths. That is 1 to 2 seconds each. Wait for the chest to rise and fall before giving the second breath. Okay, then the pulse, and also if the chest doesn't rise again, lift the head, lift the child's chin, and repeat the breath. To check for the pulse, whereby you put at least 2 fingers, just put 2 fingers on child's neck, the side of the Adam's apple. For infants, feel inside the arm and the shoulder. So wait for 5 seconds. If there is a pulse, give 1 breath every 3 seconds and check for a pulse every minute, and continue rescue breathing until the child is breathing on her own or help arrives. If you can't find a pulse, especially for children under the age of 1 year, imagine a line between the child's nipples and place 2 fingers just below its center point. Apply 5 half-inch chest compressions about 3 seconds, which give 5 compressions over your child's mouth and nose and give 1 breath. For children 1 year and older, use the heel of your hand, both hands for a teenager or adult, to apply 5 quick and 1-inch chest compressions to the middle of the breastbone where ribs are together. So in about 3 seconds, after 5 compressions, pinch your child's nose, seal your lips over his or her mouth, and give 1 full breath. So across all ages, just need to continue the cycle of 5 chest compressions, followed by a breath for 1 minute, then check for a pulse. Repeat cycle until you find a pulse or prevent continue the cycle of 5 chest compressions followed by a breath of 1 minute, then check for a pulse and repeat the cycle until you find a pulse or help arrive and take over. You need to note that the instructions are not a substitute for CPR training, which all parents or caretakers should have. It's always good for people to be armed with this information. Surprise home drowning hazards could also happen. Did you know that small child can drown as little as 1 to 2 inches of water, which is just enough to submerge her mouth and nose? Be sure to childproof these dangerous zones in your home and yard, like bathtubs, big basins that have water, big buckets, water tanks. Never leave a child under alone in the tub or near a running bath. A school-age child can bathe by himself, or a parent should stay with within an earshot. Then baby bath seats or rings. Never leave your child unattended in a bath seat. He could slip down into the water and get trapped underneath, or the ring could tip over. Then buckets and containers. A curious toddler can fall head first into a water-filled bucket and be unable to get out. And even a cooler filled with melting ice can be drowning hazard. So always make sure to empty after use. The toilet bowls. Keep toilets covered down and bathroom door closed at all times. Install a toilet cover safety latch. Also, diaper pails. Make sure the top of the diaper pail fits securely and can't be lifted off by the small fingers. Then wedding pod. Wedding posts. Empty the child size pools after use and store on their sides so that you don't get tempted to go in the pool or alone. We have the rules of pool. But there's a time, was it a year ago, 2 years ago? I think I know. Who was swimming, and I think last year or early this year, it was the news. The child was doing a certain pool, and the teachers assumed that the child knew how to swim, and eventually he drowned in the water. So, what's some safety rule for the pool? A lot of fun, but it can also be dangerous, especially for children. In fact, occur at residential pools. A child is at risk when he is in a supervised or child himself overestimate his swimming ability. So you need to follow these steps to keep as safe as possible. And first things, following the height is 5 feet, so that on all sides of the pool that separates it from the area. Self-flashing gate, and then keep rescue where you do have pole rope, keyboards, and lifesavers, reservers, and in an easy to reach location, have a pool for emergencies and posts step-by-step CPR instructions nearby so that someone finds himself in that situation or finds someone the first respondent could be of help. So never take your eyes off your child when she is in the pool area, because the water wings, rafts, and even swimming lessons are not protection against drowning. Keep the area around the pool clean and don't leave toys around it because they can entice children to the water. So if the child is missing, check the pool first. Since children can drown in only a few minutes, go to the pool edge and scan the surface because the pool covered when it is in. Yeah, so you need to make sure that the pool entire surface, otherwise the child may get under it and become trapped. So water safety at the shore, just ensure that there is no water that children can easily skid in or slide or play with or cause further injuries. Yeah. They the water. We have some few tips about wounds and cuts and cuts. And they could occur and may make us get emergency room. So we need to ensure we wash our hands, stop the bleeding, clean our wounds, apply antibiotic. We need also to cover the wound, change the dressing, and also get the stitches for deep wounds and watch for signs of infection and get us shot. That is for today. Basically, of course, on drowning. Through drowning, we're saying that sometimes there could be other injuries that could result, like cuts and scrapes. But above all, we've gone through how we can remedies that we could take, the different steps that we take to ensure that we help people who are drowning to be okay. Should you have a question, feel free to consult. We shall engage in our next lesson. Shall go with us. Right. See you the other time.